Hey Sean, welcome to the Community Living Golf Tournament. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll then just go ahead and put you back in your address position and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you here in your setup, let's first of all just take a look at your posture. We can see here that your spine is straight and not a tilt. Legs come down in a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you. Club works out to the ball, so you've got some pretty solid posture there in association with good balance. Next thing we want to observe is your alignment. We can see that your feet are aiming out to the right, so you're in a closed stance. Theoretically, your club face is supposed to be running parallel to your feet. Parallel lines on camera would have an appearance of converging, but nonetheless, we're definitely set up way out to the right there. And obviously our intended target is sort of back in this vicinity. So you may set up in a closed position, end up swinging the club on plane, and then trying to impart right to left spin with the club face via your hands and forearms and or grip to try and sort of hook the ball back on line. And if you don't do that, then you'll end up coming over the top, swinging the club from outside to inside, and that'll give you the ability to sort of hopefully pull the ball somewhat back online. So let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Brandt Snedeker. We've got some color-coded lines on the screen just as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. We can see with Snedeker as he initiates his takeaway, he turns his shoulders, draws his arms and hands back as well as his club. We see the club coming back directly along the red line, so the club is swinging back on plane. From here he's going to incorporate some good wrist hinge into play, whereby he's going to transition the club head from below his hands to above. And at this point in time, he's going to work the club from red up to yellow. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, left arm and club get situated on the yellow line. We have full shoulder rotation, and we do all this without a very stable right leg, keeping the weight on the instep of the right foot. As you watch you initiate your takeaway, you got good, strong shoulder rotation, moving your hands and arms back as well as your club. Club comes back underneath the swing plane just a little, just meaning the club is moved to the left or underneath the plane here, but that is obviously typical for the fact that you're set up in a closed stance. So this camera is set up between your feet and the ball in accordance to the center of the fairway. So if I actually rotated the camera over here and we looked between your feet and the ball towards where you're aimed, then that golf club would not be as far inside, and it would look a lot more on plane. Anyways, as we continue to move back, continue with your rotation. We get more wrist hinge into play. Golf club looks like it's in good position. We're lacking a little bit of wrist hinge, so we may see a little bit of excess arm travel and not really creating club travel through creating wrist cock. We can see the arms keep going, they keep going, and they keep going. So right arm starting to get in behind you, left arm starting to lay across sort of the top part of your chest cavity. So the arms definitely swing a little too far just because we have a very late maximum wrist hinge. Anyways, you have good turn, stable right side. Everything looks pretty solid right there. If we go ahead and create a transition back into the ball, simply want to move our weight from our right to our left, fire our knees and our hips to the target, unwind our core and fire our hands. And in doing so, we want to make sure that we're bringing the golf club from yellow back down on top of red. And that's exactly what we see here with Brandt Snedeker. The golf club is returned back to plane. The other thing we want to take a look at here is the relationship between the lead form and the golf club. Refer to this as the backwards check mark. Simply means we're retaining angle coming into the hitting zone, whereby the club head is above and behind the hands. And this is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in the golf swing, let alone getting the club to return back to plane, which is ultimately going to allow us to hit the ball straight, because the golf club tracks into the ball directly from this red line. So when the club does that, it gives us the ability to hit the ball straight as an arrow in accordance to wherever we're aimed. With you create your transition back in the ball. Good footwork, good knee work. Hands and arms are dropping. At this point in time, we can take a look at the relationship of your lead form and your golf club. You have your backwards check mark, so creating power in your golf swing is not going to be an issue. The club head is above and behind. The only problem is that the club has not returned back to its plane. So as we keep tracking the club coming into the ball, let's see how close this club actually gets back to the red line. So you're still hanging on there, club's still above and behind, that's great, but still has not returned back to plane, and still has not returned back to plane, so it stays on top. So if we just connect the dots, we can see that your club head stayed on top of the plane, therefore you've created a downswing that is slightly over the top and attacking the ball a little bit from outside to inside, which is your compensation to help you pull the ball back to the left. So we can go ahead and take a look at your swing path. We can see with Snedeker his club is inside the ball. It expands out, moves through in a nice natural subtle arc. We've got his alignment whereby his feet are running here. Parallel lines have the appearance of converging. So I wanted to do that in red. So we can see his swing arc is running perfectly in line with his target line, and the ball is heading down his target line because his grip is good. So 3 things we need in order to hit a straight golf shot and be consistent is we have to aim well, we have to bring the club down on plane, and we have to square the face up if we want to hit straight shots. We had mentioned with you that your alignment was way out to the right. I had mentioned you're going to have to create a compensation to get the ball back to the center of the fairway. I either said you're going to swing the club on plane, start the ball out towards where you're aimed, and then try and impart right to left spin to hook the ball back on line, but that's not what we do. We end up staying on top of the plane and attacking the ball from outside to inside, and we can see the path at which that club is tracking on. So therefore, if we square the club face up to that swing path, we will have the ability to pull the ball somewhere back towards our target, and that's exactly what we see. We see the ball heading towards the yellow flag. Now, if that club face over releases, not only will we pull it, but we will pull draw it or pull hook it. If the club face remains too open, we would pull slice it. And if we time it perfectly, we'll be able to pull straight it right down blue and then hopefully keep it out in that direction with just maybe a subtle fade or subtle draw. Neither one of them going to hurt you too much. But this does require a lot of timing. When we're swinging the club from out to in along the yellow path, trying to pull the ball down the blue arrow, if we over-release the club, it follows the yellow arrows. Under-release the club follows the red arrows. And if we time it perfectly, it'll stay on those blue arrows with a subtle pull draw or subtle pull fade and not hurting us at all. As we carry that golf shot through, got good athletic motion through to your finish, looks superb, and overall, you've got some great athletic ability here. Your hands work real well back and they fire through awesome. You turn, you got good coil on the way back, you uncoil. You get yourself through to a good finish because you got good footwork. Got a good setup, good posture, good balance. But unfortunately, if you want to be consistent and hit the ball straight, there's 3 things we need. We have to aim well, we got to bring the club down on plane, and we got to square the face up via having a good grip. Unfortunately, we're aiming way out to the right. It causes you to make a downswing that's over the top. You're trying to pull the ball back to the left, and at that point in time, you're trying to compensate and manipulate the club face. So unfortunately, we're missing all 3 ingredients that are required to be consistent and to hit the ball straight on a consistent basis. Anyways, at any point in time you want to work on these things, certainly feel free to give me a call. All my contact information is at the end of this video. I'm located out at Glen Abbey in Oakville. I'd be happy to help you out. Also, if you're involved with any golf tournaments and you're looking for a unique gift to provide to the participants, certainly feel free to contact me as well. Anyways, I hope you had a great day. Hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video, and hope you have a great summer.